everybody, this is Jay from Aji and Jay. Today in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Kingzone Z1. The Kingzone Z1 came from the website gearbest.com, and if I remember correctly I paid $199. However, there is a coupon available down below that you guys can get it for about $179. It did a big drop in price. Even though this phone is very nice and elegant, and I think that the design is absolutely outstanding, I do like it very much, it does have its pros and cons. I would say some of the cons have to do with the internal memory, but we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. Here, let's talk about the physical aspects of the phone. The first thing we're going to have in the front is a 5.5-inch display. It has a resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels. It is an IPS OGS display. And here we can see, guys, that from inside of the house right now, the colors appear to be very nice and vivid. However, outside they do dim a little bit. It is not too much, but I would say that it is not as bright as the M-Lite M52. On the top of the phone, we're going to have an interpolated 8 megapixel sensor camera, in which in fact is going to be a 5 megapixel sensor. We have the proximity and light sensor together with the ear speaker and the notification LED light, as well as the 4G LTE logo. On the bottom of the phone, we find here the menu key, the home key, and also the back key with a very nice and I would say unique design. On the left side, we find the volume rockers, and now it appears to be that the volume plus and the volume minus, as we can see here from the side, appears to be backwards, but that's because we're reading it the wrong way. You guys have to read it basically this way. So if you had your device in the front, you go like this, and there we have it. So yes, guys, it has a metallic frame only on the sides. It's going to be very, very thin. It's not going to be the best metallic frame that I've seen, but at least it's there. On the top of the phone, here we find the charging/data port, and also supports OTG. So if you guys have one of these connectors, you can plug it in and you can connect accessories such as mice, keyboards, and so on. We also got the 3.5mm headphone jack, which is working perfectly well. Then on the right side, we find here another sheet of metal. It's going to be only from the sides. On the top is going to be plastic, and also the bottom. So here we can also notice, guys, that the power button has been separated from the other side. So that's great because now we can identify them easier. Sometimes when we have them in one side, it gets very confusing. So I do like this design quite a bunch because of it. On the middle, this phone is going to be about 8.3mm thick. So it is a very thick device, but by the edges, it's going to be about 7.2. So it gets a little bit thinner. And when you're holding the device, it makes you feel like you're holding a thin device. And again, that has to do because of the edges here. Then on the bottom, we got the microphone, and we also see here, guys, that we have something that appears to be a very nice and high quality speaker. However, that's not the case. This is just fake. It doesn't do anything. The speaker is going to be on the back on the bottom, and it is not the loudest speaker out there. We also got here the Kingzone logo. We got the fingerprint scanner, which is very, very sensitive. Then we have a 13 megapixel sensor camera with autofocus, and the camera is okay. It does lack, I would say, a little bit of focus, and also the stabilization wasn't that great, but we're going to test that later on in the video. Then finally, we got the LED flash. The back has a very rough feel to it, but it's actually very comfortable. It makes you feel like you're not going to drive the device. As we can tell right here, it's a very, very well material that I barely see on devices, but it feels nice at the same time. Let's go ahead and open the back here and see what we have inside. So here we can see, guys, that this phone is supporting NFC. Here we have the chipset, and it is basically glued here on the back with two contacts that go directly here to the motherboard. It is a dual SIM, dual standby device, and also supports TF cards up to 64 gigabytes. Inside here, we're going to have the battery. It is claiming to be a 3500 power milliamp battery, even though it is lasting me pretty much the entire day. I would say that at the most, this is only 2800 power milliamps because of the size of it, and also the weight. It doesn't feel like it's an actual 3500. But again, guys, I had a great experience with it. I was able to go basically throughout the whole day and a little bit more. And that was playing games, doing heavy usage like GPS, Wi-Fi, and so on. And the battery did very well. We can also see here from inside the construction of it is very solid. We do have a lot of screws, and when you squeeze the device, it doesn't feel cheap. And it's actually weighing here quite a bunch. Let me go ahead and get my little weight scale so that way you guys can see how much this device weighs. So it's not going to be very light, and it's not going to be super heavy either, but I just want to give you guys an idea. Here we have a little weight scale. Let's place it on top. And this phone is 171 grams, very similar to the M-Lite M52, so it feels nice and solid in your hands. Now here's the display, guys. Like I said earlier, it's a 720p display, and what I like about it is that when it's off, it looks like it's basically edgeless. We don't have any edges here from the sides, but when you turn it on, it's going to be a different story. We do have edges, but the overall quality is very nice, and the only issue that I had was, again, outside of the house. The brightness wasn't that great. This phone here also comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM and it has 16 gigabytes from factory. Now there is an issue integrated inside of this phone that every time I go to the Play Store and I try to download certain applications like Real Racing 3 and also Sonic Dash, it doesn't let me. As a matter of fact, I'll try to do here a demonstration. This is an indication, guys, that we do have some issues inside of the system. Let's see if I can find Sonic Dash, which we have right here. We're going to see that it says your device isn't compatible with this version, and it has to do with the memory inside. There is a bug in it, so maybe Kingzone will notice about this and release an update, because this phone does support OTA, and fix that issue. But as of right now, that was my major disappointment about this phone. Don't take me wrong, guys, it's still going to support some heavy gaming, but as we can see here, but the ones that we really want to download with 2 gigabytes of RAM, it should allow us to do anything on the phone. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case here with the Kingzone Z1. When we go into settings, we're going to check here on about page that the phone is running right now the Android KitKat 4.4.4, and this is going to be correct. This is also scheduled to receive the OTA for Lollipop 5.0. The phone here, let's go into settings. Let's go ahead and confirm the RAM, so that way we can see that in fact it has 2 gigabytes. So let's go here into apps. Let's go into running, and let's check here on the bottom. We're going to see it in just a moment. So yes, guys, there we can see that right now we have about 1 gigabyte in use and almost 1 gigabyte available, which is more than sufficient. Now the phone also, the UI is very nice and snappy. I would say it's very fast. It doesn't lag whatsoever. It is basically, I would say, almost a clean version of the KitKat 4.4.4. Then also we're going to find here the notifications. It's just going to be the basic one for Android. If you go here into the toggles, we're going to find the battery percentage. We got settings, Bluetooth, location, airplane mode, a data connection, and so on. So nothing really fancy here. If you go into settings, we're going to find that we have several cool features, I would say. The first one we got, of course, is the fingerprint scanner, which is very, very accurate. Then also we got tap and pay, which is very similar to Apple Pay. You can use it with NFC. Now, even though this phone has NFC, I tried transmitting some pictures from my Samsung Galaxy S6 and it didn't do it. As a matter of fact, on the top here, we don't see any notifications indicating that the NFC is turned on, and it doesn't really matter if I move this toggle from side to side. It really doesn't make a difference. So I think that could be another bug that we have inside of the system where the NFC is not working, because hardware wise, I do see the NFC chipset on the back. Here in the USA, we're not going to get 4G LTE, as we can tell from the top. Right now I'm getting 3G with Cricket and also T-Mobile. So if you guys have both I would say networks here in the USA, it's going to work perfectly well. Now here I have downloaded some applications and games, but before we get to that, let's go ahead and navigate here through the system with the applications that come installed already from factory. The ones that I saw was Play Store was already on there. YouTube, I had to download it directly from the Play Store, and the Play Store is working perfectly well. So I showed you guys earlier, except that some applications are not supported, but it's not too many of them. Let me see here. We also got YouTube, and YouTube is functioning perfectly well. Here, let's take the time to go to my uploads, and we're going to be checking here the quality of the loudspeaker. It is not the loudest speaker, guys. That was a little bit of a disappointment, I would say. Let me go ahead and increase the volume here from the side. The sound is only coming from this side and not from the bottom. Okay, so there we can see, guys, that, or hear that the speaker is not super loud. The quality of the display is pretty decent, and right now we can play videos on 720p. But now here, let's go ahead and continue checking the system. We got gallery. On gallery, we can see that it is pretty standard for Android. We don't have anything special. All these pictures have been provided below, so that way you guys can check them out if you wish to do so. Let me see what else we got on here. We do have the camera UI. It's also very simplistic. We do have some features on the top like panorama. We have beauty face and so on. Here we're going to check the quality of the camera. The back is going to be a 30 megapixel sensor. Let's go ahead and check that out. And here we can see it, guys. The front facing camera has been interpolated to be an 8 megapixels. And we're going to see that here in just a moment. But again, that's not going to be correct. It is in fact a 5 megapixel sensor. But here we can see the interpolation right there. So that's going to be fake. I do like the menu key, the home key, and the back key. I think they light up very nicely, and I do like this design. It's very simplistic, but at the same time, you guys can, of course, identify which one is which, because they did change here the middle one a little bit. So that was something very cool. And then also we got here contacts, we have messages, and messages is working also very, very good. Then finally we got here the browser, in which we're going to be testing it in just a moment. Let's go here to the app tray and let's see what other applications we got. I do see here a flashlight. Let's go ahead and turn it on. And there we have the flashlight. It's going to be decent at nighttime. It's not going to be super bright like the Samsung Galaxy S6, but it's going to do its job. Then we also got backup and restore. We have calendar. We do have, let's see here, the clock. Inside of the clock, we're going to find the timer. We have, I think this is the world clock. We have the alarms and so on. Now let's check here on the AnTuTu benchmark test and see what kind of score we got. I don't remember correctly. I believe it was 41,000 or so. As a matter of fact, again, it has deleted. This is a bug running on the AnTuTu benchmark test. I do hate it because every time I test it, it doesn't work. So let me go ahead and fast forward this, guys. First, let's go ahead and kill all the applications, so that way we make a fair testing here. So here we have the task killer. As we can see, it's very standard. Let me go ahead and kill them all at the same time. And now I'll be going to test here the AnTuTu benchmark test. I'll be fast forwarding the video so that way you guys don't get bored. So here we go. And now here we got the results. It was 35,208. Maybe it's because I have more applications downloaded into the system. So the score is about average for the MTK6752. Let's go here into rankings as we just saw. And here we have the score. This phone is just below the LG G3. Let's check here on information. We have there the brand, the model. It's running the Android KitKat 4.4.4, 32 bits. We got the MTK6752, the GPU is the Mali T760, the resolution is 720p, the rear camera is at 13 megapixels. Here we can see the remaining of the information. The RAM is 2 gigabytes, the ROM is going to be 16 gigabytes. So let's continue scrolling down here. That way you guys can identify all the system specifications. And here we have some of the sensors supported. And of course, those who know me know that I love this application. It's called Android Sensor Box. And here we can see that the only ones not supported right now is temperature sensor, gyroscope, and also pressure sensor. Most of them are working perfectly well. And now guys, with that being said, the next thing we're going to be talking about here is going to be the GPS. On the road, the GPS was working perfectly well. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. We don't need to customize it or route it in order to get it working properly. It comes like this right out of the box. So here we can see, guys, that on the road it's functioning perfectly well. Again, I don't have any complaints whatsoever. Inside of the house, here we have the GPS test application, and we're going to open it so that way you guys can see that right now it's reading 23 satellites, and it is attempting to lock one right now. And again, we're inside of the house, so this is very impressive. It takes about 30 to 40 seconds at the most to lock it. Right now we are about, I would say, 15 seconds, and it did lock a signal already, so that was quite fast right there. As we can see, the signal is quite strong, and it gets stronger as we continue leaving this application on here, so that's very good. And also the next thing we're going to test is going to be the camera. Again, the rear facing camera is going to be a 13 megapixel. We're going to notice that the recording quality is, I would say, the exposure is too high on it, meaning that right now when you're recording, it does look like a white cloud on the background, and I didn't like that. And also the front facing camera is going to be like many Chinese devices. It's not going to be great for recording, but when it comes to photos, it's going to do its job for the most part, and all those photos have been provided down below. So let's go ahead and test it and let me know what you guys think. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Jay, and here we are testing the Kingzone Z1 13 megapixel sensor camera. And I do like the Kingzone camera because, as we can tell, the colors are very realistic. Unfortunately, guys, we don't have optical image stabilization, so it's going to be a little bit jumpy when you guys are walking around. So here we can notice the actual quality. Everything is super sharp. On low light condition, it's not going to do as good, but for the most part, guys, it's going to do its job very well. And now we're going to test here the front facing camera. And now finally we got here the 8 megapixel sensor of the Kingzone Z1. The camera is doing quite well, but this is going to be mostly great for selfies. When it's recording, the focus is very poor, but the colors appear to be a little bit better than most Chinese devices, I would say. Then also comes with autofocus, but it's not going to be the best quality, as we can notice right here. Well guys, there we saw the camera test, and in my opinion, I think it could have been a little bit better. But have in mind, guys, that we already know that this phone is running already a lot of bugs, so maybe the camera software can be upgraded later on in the future, and they can make the sensor a little bit better, or function a little bit better, I would say. So let's not lose hope on this device, guys. Again, it is a very nice phone, and for the most part, if you're an average user, you're not going to even notice about the issues on this phone. But for those those of you who like well-performing devices, you're going to notice that this is definitely running some bugs. The next thing we're going to do here is go ahead and test here the Bluetooth. I have my Bose speaker like always. And pretty soon I'm going to put this to retire, guys. This thing has been heavily used and it has marks and nicks all over the place. My daughter dropped it like 3 times already. So pretty soon I'll probably be using a different one. So here we have it on Perry mode. Let's go here into the system settings, and this is a great opportunity to test the fingerprint scanner. All I have to do, guys, is swipe it once. It doesn't fail that often. Let's go ahead and try here my other finger real quick. So that way you guys can see I have both of my index fingers. So that's the only thing about having it on the back, that you can record only your index fingers from each hand. You can't record your thumb. I mean, you could, but it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. Here, let's go ahead and complete that Bluetooth test. Let's go into settings. Let's go ahead and turn on the Bluetooth. Okay, and right now it has turned on. I think I have paired with it before and it has connected, but I just disconnected accidentally. Let's go ahead and get connected again. There we go, guys. So let's go back once here. Let's go into audio profiles and let's go ahead and check it out. Working like a charm. It's very, very responsive. Now let's test the loudspeaker here. Set its max. The loudspeaker is a major disappointment. Okay, guys, and now with that being said, here I have downloaded some applications and games inside of the system. We're going to be testing it now and also opening some other applications that came pre-installed with the phone itself. Make sure you guys enjoy it. performance of this device, and as we can tell, it is very standard for the MTK6752. When playing games, the phone didn't heat up here from the back, at least from what I can feel, so that was definitely some great news right there. Another thing we're going to do now is go ahead and test the browser. Right now I am connected here to the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi is working just perfectly well. Sometimes here, like many other devices that I've tested before, I get a lot of signal droppage with Cricket, so excuse me for that. But again, it's not the device, it's going to be Cricket itself. Maybe from now on I'll be testing these devices possibly with T-Mobile. Let's go ahead and open here the browser, and right now I have eBay open on there. Let's try here pan the wheel, and we're going to confirm that the browser functions just as normal. Here we can see the keyboard is also very accurate. So of course on Wi-Fi, guys, it was very fast. Now let's test the 3G connectivity. Again, I am using Cricket, and it is confirming there that it has H+. So let's go ahead and reload the same page, and we're going to see that again it's quite decent. So like 3G connectivity, it is not disappointing, at least in my opinion, for those who are buying it here in the USA. I would say that the browser performs quite well. Alright guys, so there we have it for the 3G. Alright, and now the last thing we're going to do is go ahead and perform a phone call test. We're going to be dialing 611. Now this time I'm just going to go ahead and do the connection test, so that way you guys can see how fast it makes the call, because the ear speaker quality is not that great. It's not very loud, I would say. So when I was outside with traffic noise and wind noise, I had a hard time listening to people. So here, let's dial 611. Let's place it on loudspeaker. So the connection was almost instant. It took about 3 seconds to connect, which is about average. So yes guys, when it comes to the connection, and for the most part the signal reception, other than Cricket and me having some issues here on this corner of the house, it is working quite well. But again, the ear speaker is not super loud, guys. And there we have concluded the review today. And if you guys want my personal opinion, I think that it is a very nice and stylish device. It looks very nice, and for the most part everything works well. I mean, you guys are going to get or be able to perform phone calls, be able to use the browser, play some games with the issues that I already mentioned. So yes guys, I mean, it's a nice decent device. The battery performs also very well. The phone doesn't heat up, and I think it doesn't have major issues right now. It does run some bugs in the system, but that is quite common on Chinese devices. But this one here appears to be a little bit more than others. But for the price, I think it's okay. If you guys are looking for a nice design and something that is very stylish, then this might be for you guys. And again, if you guys have any questions, please don't forget to comment down below. Like the video, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.